Hey, welcome back. This is the Muffin here. Another awesome subscriber request. Now, I've been doing a series where taking not just different types of tanks, not meaning tank destroyers versus light tanks or heavy tanks versus tank destroyers, nothing like that, but actually taking tanks like that are known for Derp or DPM, Autoloader, auto reloader. There's all these different types of tanks in the games, and I've done Derp versus DPM, and now we're going to be doing Derp versus Autoloaders. Now, they have some similarities between the two, but there's also some pretty big differences. So we have tanks on the Derp side, and they're famously well known as tanks that deplete a lot of your hit points when getting hit by them. So like the Death Star, the FE215B 183, the ISU 152, those tanks are very derpy. You get hit by those, and there's no question as to what you got hit by. Now, autoloaders are a bit different, but the reason why I say they have some similarities is because they're not as derpy per shot, but collectively, if you get shot all 3 or 4, however many times you have shell-wise in order to clip an entire enemy out, that can really add up to a lot of damage. But it's not like the derp cannons in the game where you get hit by that one shell and it really messes you up. But once you've clipped an enemy out, being an autoloader, you have that really long reload. Now, there are some even more differences between these two. When it comes to derp cannons typically are not very accurate. That is one thing they just do not have on their side. And the biggest issue with that is you have that one shot, and if you miss, then you have a long reload ahead of you. So you have to be a little bit more careful with your aim. Whereas with auto-loading cannons, if you miss one of your shots, you still have some other shells before you've clipped out and you have to completely reload. So, and autoloaders are also typically a bit more accurate than just derp cannons in general. Now, I will say that derp cannons are much more fun. I really like it just for the fun aspect, but they've lost in the last video I did when it was Derp versus DPM. And now these two are going head to head. Derp being ahead kind of for that first half of the game. Now the score is even, but a lot of the auto-loading tanks still looking fairly healthy. Got a good mixture of different tanks here. So as mentioned, we have the E100, we have the Sheridan, the T92E1, and then like on the auto-loading side, we have the Batchat, the FE405, the T69. So, just others. And we had a lot of different subscribers, players in the training room switched out, make sure that we were giving everyone a turn, and needed to have an equal balance of tiers from each side. Players could basically choose anything they wanted, but we definitely needed, if there was going to be a tier 8 on one team, there needed to at least be a tier 8 on the other side to try to make it as fair as possible. Now, when it comes to my personal preference on these tanks, it's quite interesting because I play these different types of tanks for different reasons. As mentioned, derp tanks are more fun. But if I'm more in the mood to win, that's not typically the type of tank I would play. If I'm just in the mood to just have fun, that's where derpy tanks come in play. Now, there are some derpy tanks that are pretty good, and you also get that mixture of winning as well. But when it comes to auto-loading tanks, I feel more confident in my ability to win a game with an autoloader than I do with a derp cannon. So we'll be doing kind of a variety of this because, like I said, there's a whole mixture of different ones. There actually was another vid just outside of derp versus DPM. I did another vid of autoloaders versus auto reloaders. Those auto reloaders, now in the first game, I actually didn't show it. I actually messed up because on the auto loading team, I had a mixture of auto reloaders and auto loaders, which have kind of similar cannon mechanisms to them, but they're also a little different. Now, the other thing that the derp team does not really have going for them is the FV215B183, because that tank is probably one of the most fun tanks to play in the game. It does the most damage per shot. You get a penetrating shot with an FV215B183, or just known as the Death Star, and it is like such an awesome feeling, especially when you can get a penetrating shot with that high pen, high explosive shell. I swear, anytime I see a full health tank like a Leopard or something in my sights that I can penetrate with one of those high pen, high explosive, just those Hesh rounds, I swear my eyes dilate like every time. It seriously is just like such a drug. But going back to what I was saying, and the point that I was making is that tank is probably one of the worst tanks in the game in terms of performance-wise, because its maneuverability is not that great. It doesn't have very much gun depression. It's not very accurate. It has probably among one of the worst camo ratings in the game. You can almost get spotted from all the way across the map. Like, it really does not have a lot going for it, except for the fact that you can take a huge chunk of hit points away from an enemy if you can get that shot. Oh no, this poor share. Oh. So things not looking too good for the derp tanks. Down 2, only 1 down on the auto loader side. Even though it lost a lot of hit points, this Bat Chat is playing really well. Moving around the map, looking for those opportunity shots, and wow, just barely missed him. Just went right over him. And then here's that issue where the 183 missed his shot, and now he's got a really long reload. The worst luck from that T49. I don't know what happened. RNG definitely was not on his side. You see how close he was, completely still, aiming in, and then the shell just totally missed. That is one of those fun things about derpy cannons. So coming up just on the end here, only 3 derp tanks left. And that's what I'm saying, is that the autoloaders, I think, just had that advantage because the auto-loading mechanism is much more forgiving. If you miss a round, you may still have other rounds that you can continue to try and clip out the enemy. Whereas the derp cannons, you miss, and that's it. You have to wait a really long time. And the other thing is that the autoloaders feel more accurate too. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the vid. This is the Muffin here. You guys stay cool and keep tanking.